Commendatores, welcome to what for probably not many of you, but for what Ian Fidance is, his Sopranos Prima Volta.
You fucking gavone.
That's right. Welcome
but not
to Prima
you,
Volta.
you commendatores.
Not the commendatores.
No.
There's gavones and there's commendatores.
Yes.
And you know what you are.
Yeah.
You know what you are. If you're already here, you're family. When you're here, you're family.
Yeah. This is Olive Garden, a podcast. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for digging the show. Like and share and subscribing. It helps. Tell your pals. Thank you for watching along with us.
Tell your paisans.
Tell your paisans. Tell your familia.
Tell your friends of ours.
Yeah. Make them tell your friends to become friends of ours.
And also, if they're like, I don't know if I'm going to watch the show or not, go ahead and make them an offer they can't refuse.
Yeah. Come on. You want to have some gabagool with us, and if you don't, you're a gabagoof.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, be a commendatore.
Yeah.
Don't be a gabagoof.
Yeah, we don't want no gabagoofs.
No.
Although it is fun to be a gabagoof ball every once in a while. Salud.
Salud. Well, Ian, that's what the show's all about.
Tastes like feet.
Your first time watching The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And I'm loving every minute of it, Jerry.
Well, we're just getting to the era of The Sopranos, the post-Ralphie era. You know, it's interesting that Ralphie was introduced as a character in season 3, but by the time we got to season 4, and by the time we got to his death episode, it was kind of like he'd been there from the beginning, no?
Yeah, I can't even barely remember the show without him.
Right. Well, now you're going to have to. We're one episode deep.
Yeah,
Season 4,
how could you
episode
forget
10.
him? And how could you forget a person like me? And if you ever forget my name, I've got a shirt with a reminder.
It says Ian.
That's me.
Why would anybody forget your name?
It's a custom-made Italian shirt for a Delaware Italian.
You are I was about to say, I think it's more of a bowling shirt, but you're Delaware Italian.
I'm Delaware Italian, and every time we go bowling on the show for a hot take or a fun joke, me and you, we always hit a strike.
Oh, that's nice. That's actually that's a nice illustration.
Yep.
And that shirt's custom made?
It is, and it costed a bit of a fat envelope, and, I had to really smack a guy up for it. So if you see us out in the town, pad the envelope, huh? Be a good earner.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You look good.
You look good.
It's sharp.
Yeah, you look the opposite of your shirt. You don't look like a little girl. And you don't look Les Miserables.
I thought it was a compliment. I thought it was,
yeah.
You look not Les Miserables.
You look Les Happily.
Well, you know why Les Mis is being represented today?
Why?
You know who's in Les Mis?
Who?
Cassette.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
That dog is in Les Miserables?
No, that's where the name comes from.
Really?
Yeah, it's such garbage. It's such Jersey
Oh,
trash.
that's so terrible.
Yeah.
God.
Cassette
is a character in Les Miserables.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Cassette met a miserable end because the episode starts off with a banger. Christopher's doing well.
Christopher's doing all right. Do you want to start there?
Yeah.
You want to go
Let's
ahead
just
and
hop in.
Dive right into it?
Yeah.
Here is maybe the greatest quote. Today we're looking at season 4, episode 10. It's called The Strong Silent Type.
Uh-huh.
And I'd love to have a conversation with you about who is the actual strong silent type, because I've got my own theory.
Ooh.
However, before we get there, I'll tell you who's silent.
Cassette.
Maybe.
Yeah, that cassette tape is not playing no more.
Two of the best
You
lines.
can't stick a pencil in that and fix it.
It's going to take a little more than a wind.
Woo-wee!
Two of the best lines in the entire series are in this episode. I'll get to the second one. The
What's
first
the
one.
first one?
She must have crawled under there
Me
for warmth.
What an idiot! What an idiot!
And Christopher, he gets, believe it or not, this is going to shock a lot of people. Christopher Moltisanti gets high on heroin.
Yeah. Big shocker.
And decides to sit his fat ass down on the couch.
Oh, my God. Breaks the dog's neck. Suffocates it. But it was the dog's fault because she wanted the warmth.
She must have crawled under there for warmth.
And then it is Adriana's fault because he told her, don't let the dog on the couch.
I told you not to let the dog on the couch.
Yeah.
He's just, I mean, and I guess maybe in the throes of addiction, maybe you will make excuses that are that lame.
Yeah.
Try to cover up from the real
Well, I mean,
ugly
I don't
truth.
think your brain is at full capacity when you're coming out of a heroin stupor.
Which is, if you're Christopher Moltisanti right now, 24 hours a day, you're either in a heroin stupor or coming out of a heroin stupor.
I didn't. I wish you said, did you kill my dog? And he went, I didn't.
Yeah, so Christopher sits on cassette, and cassette dies. And Aid, at this point, I mean, what do you do? Ian, you're a cat guy. You would have to get on a lot of drugs to sit on my dog and kill it because she's a giant dog.
Huge.
That's a little bit of a reach. You'd have to be Bobby Bacala.
Yes.
Bobby Bacala could probably handle it, but Bobby Bacala would probably need a lot of heroin to get into a stupor. He's a big man.
Or a lot of ziti.
Yeah, maybe a lot of ziti. You just see an empty plate. A big 60-pound Labradoodle body sticking out.
And if that didn't kill the dog, you'd have to have a fat snake pig on top of you as well.
Talking about Janice?
Love Janice.
I know you do.
I love Janice. And I love her little Rolling Stones tattoo. Give me shelter or no? Sympathy for the Devil,
Sympathy for the
Stones
Devil.
lyric, Janice, Stones tattoo. Wow.
All connected.
Wow.
All connected. Go back to last week's episode if you want some insight.
And when I
on
watch this show, I get satisfaction.
that. You think David Chase purposely gives people satisfaction because he loves the Rolling Stones so much?
Mm-hmm. And I wanted Ralph to live forever, but you can't always get what you want.
But if you try sometimes,
You just might sit and kill your dog.
sometimes you kill your dog by mistake. Sometimes you kill your fiance's dog by mistake. And and then at the same time, I mean, this is happening like back to back. He leaves after he kills the dog. He's got to get more heroin.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets jumped and carjacked.
He gets jumped and carjacked and tries to tell these guys who couldn't give a fuck less who he is. Do you know who I'm with? Yeah,
Who I'm
these
with.
guys now because they stole your car. You know?
I don't know. I hope whoever it is, they make walking shoes.
He gets his shit kicked out of him and also fails at his job because they're waiting for him.
Yeah, well, how humiliating is that, too? Because, like, it's not like if you get beat up outside a bar, or if you get, like, jumped by a rival crew, well, then you can go back to your crew and say, all these guys jumped me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if you get robbed and carjacked by a bunch of heroin dealers in the hood,
Yeah.
like,
Good luck.
yeah, you're not going to go to your crew and be like, we got to get revenge. Your crew's
Yeah.
going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, no, you got to keep that a secret. And at the same time, Christopher's on his drug and Carmela's on hers, which is Furio.
Yep. While Christopher's on the H, Carmela's on the F.
Whoa. Damn.
And Carmela wants to F the F.
Yeah. And ride that D train to C-Town. Also, it's very funny how she's getting ready in the mirror. And every time Furio comes over, she invites him in for coffee. She sits and talks, makes him feel at home. And then this little umbat shows up at the door and she goes, where's Furio? And he goes, oh, he got stuck at the airport.
That's the kid from Doogie Howser.
I never saw it.
Yeah. He plays Doogie Howser's best friend.
Aw.
He like climbs in through the window. Hey, what's up, Doog?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like Ferguson?
Exactly. No,
From
like
Clarissa Explains It All?
Sam crawled in through the window. Ferguson was the brother.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right,
Sam
right.
was and that guitar riff would play. Boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Smooth move, Ferguson. It's from 30 Rock. I love that she has that kid come in, doesn't say a word, just ignores him.
She's furious at his presence.
Yeah.
Furious that he's not Furio.
Yeah. Yep. Chip, chip, cheerio.
And I got a lot to say about Furio, but before we get there, Christopher gets beaten up.
Well, he doesn't get beaten up yet. That's later in the episode, right?
Well, I was kind of packing all of Christopher stuff into one.
Oh, let's do it. Let's pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin.
Well,
Christopher Moltisanti on heroin. It's a sin.
You could have just said Christopher Moltisanti on heroin.
Yeah, you're right.
That's okay. I mean, I know the word is sin. You wanted to pack it in.
Pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Christopher Moltisanti is on heroin.
Pretty good.
What did I say? He's on heroin and that's a sin?
yeah.
I was trying to do like a rap god.
No, that's cool.
Pack a bunch in one line.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So he he gets
Y'all
beat
can't
up.
be Brendan Sagalow.
I thought about Brendan Sagalow because Joe DeRosa on his Instagram did the Fife Dog challenge.
What's that?
I guess he recited his favorite verse from the rapper Fife Dog. And I was like, maybe Brendan Sagalow actually is talented.
Who's Fife Dog?
He's a rapper. Yeah, and Joe DeRosa did one.
Tried rapping. Oh, and then in comparison,
and then I thought about Brendan Sagalow, and I was like, you know what? Sagalow would have killed this.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So DeRosa did Fife Dog.
Yeah,
and I guess his rapping was it rough?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've earned your Whitmans that you brought for me.
Yes.
You can keep it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I earned the Whitmans for
you
that.
You did. It was very funny.
Did you like how I paused before I gave it? It's a dog.
Can I take back your Whitmans that I gave to you? Okay. We'll work on it. We still got plenty of episode to go. Because then
I should have packed it in on that joke. You shouldn't have let me begin.
Nope. So Christopher gets home,
and
Adriana's like, well, from between killing my dog and like coming home and having your car stolen and getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, and he brings home a fucking junkie. He's like, he's good people. He's and what he's like, I'm Mark. I'm Steve from the park.
Remember in season 1, Christopher's friend Brendan?
Yes.
Remember how awful Brendan was?
Yes.
Somehow Christopher found an even worse friend.
Yeah. He just really finds these rodeo clowns.
Isn't that amazing? That Brendan in season 1 was like...
Oh, I forgot about him.
I mean, he was a huge part of the show.
Yeah.
And you just forget he ever existed.
Yeah.
I don't even remember his last name. I was about to call him Brendan Sagalow.
No. Oh my
and it's
God.
not. It's just the Brendan that I know.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he got shot in the tub.
Yep. By Mikey Palmise, right? Palmise, yeah.
Yep. Why'd they shoot him? Because he kept fucking up.
Yeah. So, so Aid suggests rehab to Christopher.
Yeah, well, not even that, but Christopher gets suggested rehab.
Just suggestion.
And he goes, you're going to need rehab for this face.
Yeah.
And he knocks her around and then steals her money.
Yeah, that's just disrespectful. It's your money too, Christopher.
Yeah. You gave her the money that you're stealing. That is the equivalent of me giving you the Whitmans and taking it back.
You giving you the Whitmans.
Me giving me the Whitmans and then taking it back. Yeah. It's just, you're feeding Paul to feed Mary.
That's it. That's
you're
the
robbing
expression.
Paul to feed Peter.
That's right. And you're taking your Peter out.
Yeah. Peter Paul Gualtieri.
Yeah. So, he knocks around Adriana a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Adriana, and I guess it really does show you how limited Adriana's social circle is. Because, man, unless you're trying to get Christopher killed, I don't know if going and talking to Carmela about it is the best thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
That's a risky thing to do.
I don't think Adriana understood the scope of that.
I don't think she understands the scope of much. God bless her.
And it's so sad. She goes to Carmela and she goes, I already packed to go to my aunt's in Daytona. It's like, oh, this poor gal.
I think Adriana still hasn't wrapped her head around the fact that she does not have a typical life, like the rules of normal.
No, and her poor tennis coach left too.
Yeah. Poor tennis coach.
Mm-hmm.
So then, Tony finds out and they got to figure out what to do. What did you make of the fact that Junior
wants to kill him like a rabid dog?
Junior suggested immediately killing Chris.
Immediately.
I mean, Tony was like, whoa.
Yeah, he goes, I don't think I want to do that thing.
Yeah. What did you make of that? Is it just Junior being Junior? Or?
I don't know. I think Junior, that was almost like a grab for him to be like, I still have power.
Right, that he wanted to do something dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess it probably goes back to, don't forget, it wasn't that long ago that Christopher was pissing everybody off by really kind of taking control of the fact that he was going to be second in command.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people were getting frustrated with him. So I'm sure that Junior sees Christopher as this, like, young
Thorn in the
guy
side,
that,
right.
that thinks he's the man and isn't giving June
The respect he
the
deserves.
respect he deserves. Maybe. I mean, and he probably is hungry to just make a move, whatever that move is.
Yeah.
At any point, did you worry that Tony is going to decide to kill Christopher?
No, but it was pretty jarring that was on the table. And like Christopher doesn't even realize it.
Yeah. But it's weird that Christopher wouldn't realize it, right? Because, it might be because he's on heroin, but the fact that literally 1 week ago, Christopher was cleaning up a dead body from one of the people on his crew. That Christopher, even in his heroin state, knows that this is just because Tony doesn't like him. So the idea that a week later, Christopher knows that Tony has an affection for Adriana. Like that, not in an unhealthy way, but just like that Tony's family loves Aid.
Yeah.
So the idea that Christopher would do something that stupid now, when Tony's in this state, is crazy.
My question is Christopher using heroin because he loves heroin, or is he using it as an escape from the fact that he is really in some shit?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Christopher's been a lost soul since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, patience is not a virtue that Christopher has.
No.
Christopher's not good at kind of waiting his turn and seeing where the cards lay out. He's constantly wanting more.
Yeah.
And I think that probably has a lot to do with it.
Well, yeah. And also, there's a moment when Tony and June are talking on the couch, and June is like, Christ, me with the trial, you with the shrink, and now this kid on the scumbats. They have this realization of like, oh, dude, our family sucks. This blows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is not... The name of the episode is The Strong Silent Type.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it's like they have this realization of like when Paulie's talking to the leader of the old folks home when she's like, and your mother forgets her teeth. And he goes, this is not good. They have this like, this is not good moment realization.
By the way, speaking of Paulie, we didn't get much into Paulie on the last episode just because there's so much with Tony and Ralphie. But do you think that Ralphie going away, like the fact that Paulie clearly had a big problem with Ralphie because of, the prank call to his mom, and Ralphie's now disappeared. You think this is going to be one of those things where Paulie's just glad that Ralphie's gone, or do you think it's going to be one of those things where Paulie is like, well, I never got to have any sort of revenge?
I think Paulie is so dumb.
Yes.
That he thinks Tony disappeared Ralphie for disrespecting Paulie's mother.
He's so full of himself.
He truly thinks, like, in that scene in the bar when he tells Paulie, like, I'm the boss. Nobody's going to do anything. Nobody's whacking anyone. This is a business. I'm going to go see your mother. It's about time. And Paulie's like, that'll be wonderful, Tony.
It is so easy to play that dude like a fiddle.
Dude, and first of all, okay, I mean, also speaking of playing like a fiddle, Tony shows his cards like an umbats when Christopher brings in the painting and they all see this painting of Tony and Ralphie's horse, Piamai, and Ralph's not in the picture.
No.
What the fuck?
No, and Tony reacts the way he reacts to the painting.
Dude, he flips out, wants them to burn it. Like, what the fuck? Tony, what are you doing? Just play cool for 5 minutes.
Although, I think that you see where Tony's genius kicks in and where the genius of the writers kick in. Like, I love when stuff on this show happens where, like, storylines that wouldn't seem to have any correlation all of a sudden reveal themselves to all be interconnected. And you're like, holy shit.
Like what? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about in the beginning of this episode when Johnny Sack tells Tony that he wants in on the housing development deal that, you know, that Tony was, that we talked about a few episodes ago.
Freeland Heisen Avenue.
And Tony says no.
Right.
And realizes that this is going to create tension with New York, but he won't give in. At some point, remember when, what's his name? Your guy, Artie Bucco. When you like Artie Bucco, right?
I can't hear you glug-glugging at the bottom of the river with your scorpions.
You hate Artie Bucco.
I hate him so much that I love him.
You just love that he can get that emotion out of you.
Yeah, but I mean, like, just he's such an emotive, like, ridiculous boob that, like, I just slap my head going, Artie, you fucking idiot. But he's just the guy that plays him is so great.
So
like,
great.
He's such a wonderful character.
Yes, he really is amazing. Yeah. But
oh, and also we didn't talk about it in the last episode, but I love how they have Ro visit Ralph in the hospital. I had
Ro written down. Ro.
Yeah. And she goes, he's going to be fine. And the next scene, they're in the restaurant. She goes, he's going to be a vegetable. And they're like talking shit on Artie. And then those fucking snake women, Carm is like, hi, yeah, hi. And they're just talking shit about Artie, acting like everything's fine. Hilarious.
But amazing how supportive Ro was in that moment. Don't forget that Ralphie, like, was not there for Ro in her time of need.
No.
Left her high and dry for that fat snake pig, I believe is how you phrased it, Janice. And still, she was there for Ralphie when Ralphie
Ro
needed
was a
her.
sweetheart.
She's a saint.
Yeah. And
he's going to be a vegetable.
Yeah. Oh, she's going to be fine. She's going to be a vegetable. Amazing. Amazing.
But Artie talks about Tony, like, seeing everything
in the future, 5 steps ahead, like a hawk.
How manipulative it all is.
Yeah.
When Tony sits down with the crew, right? Because we start the episode not only with that meeting with Tony and Johnny Sack, but with the crew being very suspicious.
Well, Tony and Johnny Sack's at the end of the episode.
No, I think they have a meeting earlier on in the episode because Tony talks to his crew about it after.
No, the only time he sees Johnny is when he's taking Valentina out to dinner. And he takes Valentina out to dinner after he meets up with Melfi. Initially, what Tony's doing is planting the seed, and I don't think Tony realizes the move is to blame it on New York until later, because Tony's still making phone calls to Ralph going, I don't know where he is. And he's got this moment when Christopher brings in the painting, and he goes, Ralph's still not picking up his phone, and blows the smoke out, and he's got the deadest eyes ever when he's looking at Christopher.
Tony does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
I mean...
Yeah, but Tony on this episode tells the crew that
later...
That's what I mean, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
later
like
in the episode, he goes, I think I know what happened.
Yeah.
And that's, in your theory, which is still up for debate about the scorpion, about how it stings and they both drown.
It's a fable. It's not up for debate. That's not a theory.
Well, I initially thought that it was about trusting.
Well, no, the scorpion spites itself. That's the whole thing. That's the story.
I'm aware of that now, but I initially
Otherwise,
thought...
that's not nature. That's just a manipulative person.
No. I initially thought they get to the other side because the frog trusted the scorpion. The scorpion breaks the trust, stings him, and he goes, why did you sting me? And goes, because it's in my nature. Because it's in my nature to backstab and break trust. And they do that by getting to the other side, which makes a frog think... And then the scorpion goes along and stings others.
Yeah, but that's not nearly as scary.
That's not here nor there.
That's very easy to understand. Like, the scary thing is that somebody will do an
tear
evil
themselves
act,
down.
Even if it spites them, they will just do the evil act to do the evil act.
I was under the impression that the fable was about trust.
That's okay. I mean, that's fine that you were under that impression, but that's not the fable.
But that's what I've been operating under because the person who told me the fable made it about trust.
Yeah, they told you the story wrong.
Yeah, well, and I trusted them because they were my AA sponsor. And if they're fucking that fable up, what else are they fucking up with me?
Okay, okay, you know what? Maybe I should stop bringing this up. I didn't think this would fuck with your sobriety.
I'm on Skag right now.
You don't understand. The whole thing was a lie.
That's why I've been pulling so hard for it, because it was from my sponsor.
No, what I'm saying is that the genius of the stories becoming interconnected is that Tony, I believe, sees an opportunity when he sees that Johnny Sack is going to,
is pissed.
Potentially start a war again over this real estate thing.
Johnny's such a bitch. He's like, Carmine's not pleased. He always uses Carmine as this fucking boogeyman.
Yeah, well, you're right about him being a bitch.
Yeah.
But I think it's because he feels like they're more afraid of Carmine than they are of me. Maybe if I say Carmine, which is a bitch move. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tony being so like Machiavelli to sit there and manipulate that. And I believe in the moment with Johnny, go like, oh no, I can use this to get myself off the hook and to mobilize my crew against New York. Realizing as Johnny is saying,
you really want to go down that road?
He realizes I can blame Ralph on Johnny now.
Totally.
And get the crew back on my side.
Yeah. And at the same time, there's this instance in the car when they're talking about Ralph's kid to Valentina. And it just, every character in the show is just so soulless.
Yes.
Where they're talking about this kid, like, we don't know if he's going to make it. You know, he got a arrow in his heart. And she goes, I think I'll get the medallion of veal. Yep, oh well. And then they're just talking about this dinner. It's like, Jesus Christ.
They don't care about Ralph. They don't care about his kid.
No, it's so sad. But what do you know? Tony does make sure to go to the hospital and give an envelope.
Of course.
His little fucking...
I mean, it's all the same thing. It's like, you know, you just, as long as you paid the money, you're good. That's just as good as your emotion.
Yeah. It's... You know, also like that painting of Pyomai's evidence and evidence of Paulie being a fucking moron is him, first of all, stopping them from destroying it and then
he's
valuing the price of the painting at 25 G's. Are you stupid?
They just painted it. It's a painting of Tony.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, how much did Tony pay for it?
$6.
That's how much it's worth.
Yeah.
And it's only worth that to Tony.
Yeah.
Because it's of him and his horse.
Yeah. I would love to see him on Pawn Stars. Just appraising things terribly.
Yeah, but how great would it be when they offered him much less and then he just started beating them up?
Oh, yeah. Just beating the shit.
Yeah.
Hand to God. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I've wondered, that's one of the things that I've wondered about for a long time. Like, does Paulie legitimately think that this is a piece of fine art? Is he just a tasteless person? Does he have some kind of deep connection with
Yes, he's a tasteless person. Look at his house.
His apartment is terrible.
His apartment's terrible. He's got one recliner with plastic on it in the TV tray, and he's looking at the painting, and he wants it to be, he not only does he want to get a new painting, he wants to just remodel Tony to make him look better.
The scenes, there's some of my favorite scenes on the show. The scenes of Paulie in his home, just off work hours, are always so great. Whether it's with this like Gumar that has two little kids running around,
sleeping on a cot,
or like in his awful apartment. It's like, what is this guy's life,
dude? It's insane. And he's just looking at the painting, and he goes to the guy, and he's like, "Can you make him like Napoleon?" And he goes, "No, he's a bit too rotund for Napoleon." And he goes, "No, like Napoleon."
Not Napoleon.
Yeah.
Like Napoleon.
Yeah.
Like he's insulted.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not stupid. I know that.
Yeah. And then they put a fucking, Napoleon hat on him and he looks like a moose. And it's
terrible painting.
I truly think Paulie thinks that Tony disappeared Ralph for Paulie out of loyalty to Paulie.
So you think...
Because Paulie's so delusional, he thinks Johnny Sack is his friend. And he goes, you tell me your problems, I tell you mine. Johnny Sack has not once told him a problem.
Well, Carmine likes Paulie.
Oh, yeah, Carmine. Carmine would be pleased to hear that. Yeah, right.
He will. you.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And it's just so funny.
You
'cause
called me when I was in prison. He never had an incoming call.
Paulie operates like a 26-year-old.
I
like
love
was
it.
like fresh into adult life. They
I
don't
love
just
it.
believe anything.
I love it. It's amazing.
He's an old man. You'd think he'd be like streetwise to all this stuff.
It's incredible.
So you think that the painting is not just because it's got to be beyond Paulie having bad taste. Like,
Yeah.
you think it is because he's got some deep appreciation for Tony.
I mean, we see it too when. I mean, do you want to get into the intervention?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's too good.
I'm just gonna say there's a part when Paulie flips out and goes, "You're talking to the boss here."
That's right. You're 100% right.
You know, he just gets it's almost like his allegiance to Tony has been reignited because I truly think he thinks Tony disappeared Ralph to take up for Paulie and his mother.
I love that theory and I believe it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Paulie. That's Paulie to a T.
Yeah.
To a goatee area.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Takes a real Manucci to come up with that one.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
Appreciate that very much. Yeah, no, I think I've earned
A Whitman's.
Look, I don't have the makings of a varsity athlete, okay? I didn't see that coming. Box is a little dented.
Hey, you might like it out that day.
Oh, love it. Love
Yes.
it. So what do you make then of when he does finally get his $25,000 painting done and he hangs it up, end of the episode, the close up on Tony's eyes, like through the awful Napoleon paint job and everything. It's still clearly Tony's eyes and Tony's face.
Well,
And there's that close up almost like Tony is looking down on him. But it doesn't feel positive. It doesn't feel like a positive thing. What did you make of that?
well, I thought it was a callback to the previous episode when they zoom in on the horse's eye.
Mm-hmm. What would it mean, though?
I don't know. I just thought of that.
Just two eyes.
Yep.
So, sometimes you think of things and you're like, well, that could, I could go ahead and analyze that thought, or I could just let it sit. And you decided this one can collect dust.
Well, I just thought of that, and then I thought, say this.
Now, is there any, I don't see any connection.
Well, it's just zoomed in on eyes.
Okay. You're more thinking cinematography.
Uh-huh.
I was actually thinking of the characters.
Yeah.
Right. You're thinking like whoever directed this episode watched the last one and they were like, zoom in is cool.
Yeah.
I'll do a zoom in too.
Yep. Like they zoomed in on Ralph running, zoomed in on the pots.
It wasn't like a zoom in on Ralph running. It was just where the camera was. It wasn't a zoom.
Beauty of the episode is in the eye
Dog's
the-
barking.
beholder.
But that's where to me I go like, well, I'm not so sure. Like it's almost like, do you think? I don't know. It felt like Paulie was almost being haunted by Tony.
Yeah, it was kind of like one of those paintings in a museum or like a haunted painting where the eyes are always watching you. And it's a position where Tony is looking down on Paulie.
Do you think Paulie's a little worried because of what happened to Ralphie? And maybe he's like, okay, I got to.
Well, Christopher's right. There are rumblings around the crew of like, Tony's the one that did this over a fucking horse.
Do you think that after Tony came to them with the John theory, do you think that they actually believed the John theory, or do you think that they were like, okay, if that's what we're going to believe, that's what we're going to believe.
I don't
Let's
know.
move
It's
forward.
the thing of like, if they believe it, then there's got to be consequence to the action of them whacking the best member of their crew, a top highest earner. And then Tony looks weak if he just goes, well, we can't do anything with New York,
Do you think that Tony was setting them up, though, to be like, okay, if John becomes a problem, I can easily convince any of these guys to kill him because I've pinned Ralphie on him.
Possibly.
Let me just put that in their brain, not confirm it, but just let it sit and simmer until I need it.
Possibly, but I mean, it's like, is this going to cause a complete all-out war just because Tony lost his temper over a horse?
Wars have been almost started for less. I mean, the last one was because the 90-pound mole.
I mean, this is a horse of a different horse, of course.
That is the old expression.
And it's interesting. This is all about a horse, and Christopher's on the horse.
You bet he is. So, Carm is getting reckless, and Furio is a shell of himself. I'm so disappointed in Furio. He's become just such a shit. Like, he's just weak.
Get over it, dude.
Yeah. Like, he was so strong when he first came to Newark. And Newark has made him. He's a broken man.
Yeah.
He's showing up there on the doorstep.
Crying. Yeah, and then Tony's like, "What's the matter?" He's like, "Oh, my father." And he goes, "Yeah, well, you got to get over it."
That's the sensitivity of Tony Soprano.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that AJ is kind of figuring it out now and going like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's pathetic."
I got to go to Comp USA.
Yeah, and Comp USA, and then Carm does what to me is the unthinkably stupid.
What, and talks to Ro?
Yes, like why? This feels like the type of thing that so obviously can never happen.
Why?
Because best case scenario, Furio gets killed. That's the best case scenario.
What are you talking about?
Carm being in love with Furio.
Right.
No good can come of that.
For sure, but why is it a bad thing to share with Ro?
It shouldn't even be something that you speak out loud.
Yeah, but she knows Ro has experience with that. Her and Ro are close.
You shouldn't tell anybody. Your own husband, the person that you should be closest to in the world, might kill you if he finds out. So probably
Tony would never kill Carm. He would kill Furio, but he wouldn't kill Carm. Tony would never kill Carm. And how are they going to know? Ro's not going to tell anyone. Who's Ro going to tell?
Word spreads.
Ro is loyal. Ro must be loyal to my capo. Ro wouldn't spread anything. They're the two gals that are the closest.
Those gals gossip till there's no tomorrow.
But not about that.
Everybody.
Ro had a thing with a guy when Jackie didn't know.
What?
And she mentioned she had a gumo.
But she didn't.
What's a gumar for a woman? A gumo?
A dead man.
Oh.
That's a corpse. That's what they're known as. A corpse. No, I just feel like Carm should have the sense to not even speak it into existence. Don't even say it out loud in the mirror.
Yeah, but I think this is good because Ro talks some sense to her and goes, "Oh, so this isn't real. You haven't slept with him yet. This isn't real."
You think that's going to fix things?
I don't know. I think Carm needs a hard truth.
Carm needs to shut the fuck up and get over this thing. And Furio needs to stop with the puppy dog eyes.
Totally. I totally agree. I do not like this Carm turn of her being weak. She's not even snapping back anymore, or Tony or the kids.
No.
She's so deflated. And she says that. It's so sad, man. Like, truly, I mean, women, Jesus Christ. I mean, get your little edit button ready, but here comes some truth, Sammy.
Right.
I mean, you got to give these broads attention all the time because the second they don't get that, attention is their heroin. And the second it's not pumping through their veins, they're going to go find another dealer elsewhere.
Troubles at home?
On the show.
Oh. Well, you're saying women in general.
Well, I think, the show is analogous for a whole entire gender.
The Sopranos? Man, then men are scum.
Men are scum. I mean, we're scum. The majority of us are fucking scum.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I don't know. I find the whole storyline frustrating and avoidable.
Yeah, but it's like, what else are you going to give the character of Carm to keep her interesting?
That's true.
You got to have this storyline.
That's true. I love Furio when you got a bee on your hat. The enforcer.
Yeah.
The enforcer.
I love the enforcer.
The fact that the enforcer is being stripped down to this puppy dog.
He's been completely deballed. The only thing he's enforcing is that Tony gets to places on time. He's now a driver.
You're right. You're right. Maybe Tony did this to himself by just stripping Furio of that authority.
Yeah, it's like Furio is just driving Miss Daisy around. Can't Tony put him on some task to beat someone up?
Yeah, I mean, Furio was at his best when he was in that tanning salon.
Yeah.
Yeah, just beating up men, women, didn't matter.
Yeah. And then it is interesting how like Furio's cooking himself dinner and everything, and then Tony's just eating leftovers. Like Furio is an independent man, and Tony is nothing without Carm.
Furio also has culture. Furio is a cultured, intelligent guy. Tony is a dude,
moron.
Yeah, he's an idiot from Newark.
Tony's a complete moron. I mean, dude, it's so evident in the fact that he starts fucking Svetlana, and he goes over, and Svetlana, I think, has now become my favorite character on the show. When she called Janice a boring woman, I was like, you are the best. That is such a wonderful way to say it. And I got to say, this episode is so timely because of what's going on in the world now. Svetlana makes me root for Russia.
I mean, I don't know if you want that like totally out there. I mean, Svetlana is, again, just a character, and these characters on the show are not representative of full genders or
all of
populations.
the Russians are like Svetlana, we should support Russia.
I don't. I'm more of a Ukraine guy in the whole thing. To me, that's where I am. I don't know if that's.
Are the Ukrainians like Svetlana?
I mean, they're great people. A lot of Russians are good people. They don't want to be.
Country it has more Svetlanas. I am on team that country.
Well, right now, you know who has Svetlana?
Who?
America.
Yes.
America.
Number one.
Number one.
Numero uno.
Number one.
And also for the record, I was not serious about rooting for Russia. Only Svetlana is the only Russian I like. Other ones, scum pig snake like a Janice.
So it takes Tony all of one episode to have sex with one-legged Svetlana. She's back. And I mean, how much of a high school your mom walking in on you moment.
Oh, God.
When the original nurse comes back and she knows what the two of them did, and she's got that weird, like, come on, let's all be adults here. You don't need to be jealous or disapproving.
Well, I love Tony goes, is this driving you to drink? And she goes, I can drive myself. And she calls Tony like a lazy bastard because Americans have too much time to think, and all you do is complain, and we don't, every other country has real problems, and Tony kind of likes that. And then he's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm designing web page. He goes, look at you. You got your whole life together designing web pages. He's such a dumb idiot.
He really is. And she's also the one that kind of breaks it off with him.
Yeah.
Which Tony is not used to.
Yeah, we shouldn't do this again. What? She is such a sultry, one-legged, wicked mama.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Svetlana is the strong silent type. Svetlana's Gary Cooper, not anyone else on this show.
Wow.
I came to that this time.
Really?
That's Gary Cooper.
No way.
Yeah.
That is the Sopranos Prima Volta Whitman's moment of the day. Woo! That deserves a Whitman's for your strong wit.
It's the sampler.
Sampler.
Solid chocolate messenger.
Sampler. He's the chocolate messenger of metaphor.
Yeah, look, I mean, because I'm sitting there, right, and the episode is called The Strong Silent Type, and I'm like,
wow.
Tony, and I've had the argument with you, is not, he wants to be.
He wants to be.
I think we're in the same,
God, it's so sad. He's in with Melfi. He goes, but there I go, the sad clown. It's like,
shut up. You're so melodramatic.
What are you talking about? Sad clown. And then Melfi calls him on it, too.
Yeah, well, Melfi's kind of done with him in this moment.
And also, God, it was so telling. He talks about, Ralph's son, and he's like, the kid, blah, blah. And then Melfi goes, those poor parents. And Tony's like, yeah. Anyway, and it's like those poor parents, one of which I just murdered.
Yeah, for setting a horse on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even Melfi's like, it's just a fucking horse.
Right. Which Tony didn't want to hear.
No.
But, yeah, I mean, Tony's not, Christopher's not, Carmela's not, Furio's not anymore. Like, there is no strong silent type on the show except for Svetlana. And this is, I think, now would be the time. We get to see how everybody works emotionally when, instead of killing Christopher, the whole crew comes together for an intervention.
I mean, that sounds like an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I mean, it is just, this was so fucking comical.
Was it not maybe the best scene in the whole show so far?
Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, it's a
Comedically.
Pine Barrens is an amazing episode from start to finish.
Yeah.
This is an amazing episode from like the second half on, where it just turns into this comedy.
I mean, talk about great Syl moments. Like, Syl just doesn't get how interventions work.
No.
Like it's just such a humiliating shaming when he goes, and your hair was in the toilet. Disgusting.
Yeah. And on top of that, the funnies start rolling when Tony goes, I feel like the Dr. Reverend Rodney King Jr. Can't we all just get along? You stupid idiot. And then from there, it is just a barrel of laughs of this poor guy coming in to give the intervention.
Oh, yeah, he's the
he
sympathetic.
is getting railroaded by Paulie. He's like, oh, so you're a 2-time loser.
Yeah, he's sitting there trying to like follow the book.
Yeah.
And like he's dealing with all these people that he's like, what is this bizarro world? I mean, when Tony finds out about Cassette in the middle of this intervention, whoa, hang on, what?
Yeah. You hurt an animal? I know what it's like to lose a pet. That's so funny. Why don't you have a dog then, you stupid idiot? Why don't they have a family pet? You're going to go take everyone else's pets and love shit in the wild?
Well, the ducks flew away and the horse got set on fire.
So fucking rescue a fucking dog, you moron.
You're so done with Tony.
I'm done with them. I mean, Christ. And Syl is disgusting.
Disgusting.
And then Paulie is like, you're weak. You have a disappointment. No judgments. And then Christopher just, oh, you want to talk Syl? You're banging every slut with a wife and kid at home. Paulie from the moment in the woods. And Mr. Type A personality. You shoveling meats down your throat. That's the boss. And then he calls his own mother a whore.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
Jesus Christ.
And of course, how else could this intervention end?
But in violence.
Violence. They just start beating each other up. Christopher gets his skull fractured.
Yeah, they're in the hospital and she goes, so he fell trying to kill ants. And he goes, yeah, he had socks on. Are you aware he has a drug problem? Really? It's just insane. What a complete comedy of errors.
Yeah, it's perfectly done, perfectly executed. And then Tony, and this is the only way it could have been done. Like the only way this group of people, this family operates is through threats of violence. When Tony says, we're sending you away.
Yeah,
we're going to send you to a rehab facility, and you're going to stay until you get clean.
Yeah.
And you better not leave before you get clean.
Yeah, you better not. If you need anything, Patsy's going to be half a mile away in a motel.
So he's like, can you imagine? Like, you're going to rehab.
I've been.
Did you have Patsy watching you to make sure? Because otherwise, talk about Patsy has gone from, I'm not sure if he wants to, he was pissing in Tony's pool.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's not sure how Patsy feels about him.
Mm-hmm.
To really, even though we don't have a ton of interaction with him, who does Tony call when he needs
Patsy's
Gloria? Patsy's the most loyal, dependent
Patsy
on
is
soldier.
loyal to his capo.
Yeah.
And Patsy has become the Furio. He's the enforcer now.
That should be Furio's gig.
Yeah.
But Furio's too love-struck.
That's so interesting. Yeah. And Patsy's a guy Tony gets other people to interact with for like gifts.
Yes.
Patsy's great.
Patsy's amazing.
Yeah. Remember when I was saying how amazing Patsy was?
Yeah.
And you're like, is he really? Me? What do you know?
I knew what was coming. I've seen it before. I don't know if you know this, but this ain't my Prima Volta.
Well, it's my Prima Volta, and I think I'm pretty prima good at it.
You are pretty prima good at it. I will say that.
Patsy's great, and
I also love the fact that Patsy with everything that he's been through, is willing to be like, okay, Patsy, for the next, because if it's true, could be a lie. Patsy might not be there, but theoretically, if it's true,
He's just sitting in a motel for a month.
at least, maybe 2.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like, what's he going to do for a month?
Yeah. Is Patsy going to just sit there in the motel?
But then at the same time, I was like, it's kind of a cool gig. Getting paid just to hang out in a motel.
Hang out in the motel. You're not paying for the motel.
No, dude, give me a pool and a smoking room and I'm in heaven.
Exactly. Meals are paid for?
Yes,
We're good.
I'm great.
We're golden.
I mean, that intervention was so just perfectly done. And the interventionist is just there like, what have I gotten into? No judgments, no judgments.
Yeah.
And Christopher sees him. He's like, weren't you the guy that stole a bunch of blah, blah, you know? And Paulie is just hating him. And I had an intervention.
You did?
Yeah. The worst part and like hardest thing to accept about an intervention, especially mine, was how few people were there.
That's tough.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'll go away, but could you get a couple more pals
How many
here?
people were at your intervention?
Just 2.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
At a
God.
seafood restaurant. Yeah, I'm cracking crabs, getting told I got to go away. I'm like, could a waiter come over and say he cares about me too?
They didn't have to rent out the restaurant?
No.
Other people were just there having a meal.
Yeah, it was very hush-hush tones.
Who was there?
My capo and my mom.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. But, I mean, obviously.
Spoiler alert, I didn't listen.
Okay, so that wasn't your breakthrough
No.
moment.
That was like half. I think they planned it when I was in the bathroom. It was very much.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah. It
I
was
got
very
you.
on the fly.
I got you.
Yeah.
But you didn't leave with a skull fracture.
No, but
Okay.
I left with a half-written letter on a receipt. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Do you think Christopher gets clean? You think this is the beginning of the beginning?
I was thinking about that, and I was thinking that this is now going to be Christopher's redemption arc because in the hospital, when Tony's like threatening him again, immediately Chris, it's just sometimes they morph into these little kid father roles where Christopher immediately is like, the cop that killed my father. Tony's like, I've done things for you. You've done things for me. You know,
Even though that's not true.
No, Tony had him kill an innocent man as a lie to get him attached to Tony because he's a manipulative asshole.
Probably just a guy that was in Tony's pocket. Now he's not useful anymore.
Yeah. And also, how did Christopher not get caught for that murder? He's leaving cigarette butts everywhere. The guy's fucking handcuffed to a fucking stairwell. Like, what the fuck? It blows my mind that these people don't get caught for their crimes.
You know how he got away with it?
How?
The cop that would have investigated it?
Dead.
Dead.
You're right. Fuck.
Who's gonna investigate?
Yep.
Let's call
smart.
our best cop in.
That's
he retired. Let's get him out of retirement. And then he got killed.
Yeah. Well, it's the equivalent of killing someone with an icicle.
Boom.
Can't get caught.
Got him with an icicle.
Yep. You've been iced.
Well, I tell you, man, it's getting wild, isn't it?
I mean, my prediction is that Christopher has a redemption arc. He steps up, becomes stronger, and then obviously later he's got to relapse and like get it back again because that's, you know, part of the story, blah, blah, blah. But I think, I mean, it's funny. They're worried about Christopher flipping for the FBI, which, by the way, I kind of like this new FBI agent with Aid. She seems to be more friendly and kind of care.
Yeah.
You know?
She gets that it's tough.
Yeah.
And she's not the one that betrayed her.
Right. And I'm hoping that the FBI agent flips and becomes Aid's true friend, best bridesmaid for the wedding, and leaves the FBI and joins the mafia and kind of lives in like an in-law suite with Christopher and Aid.
Do you think probably that's the way it'll go?
Only one way to find out.
Well, I know.
watching.
You don't. It's your Prima Volta, after all. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, where do you think...
I mean, what the fuck? Tony's trying to preemptively have this war with New York.
Yes.
Where
do you think... let's just talk about this season, because we've got,
Johnny Sack's got to die eventually.
We've got, whatever. I don't know if this is 12 episodes or 13 episodes. We got 2-3 episodes left in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
We've already killed Ralphie. We've already sent Christopher to rehab. Where does this season go? Like, what kind of bow are you going to put on this season?
I have no fucking clue. I truly do not know where this is going to go.
Just this
and
one,
these
like
fucking
in the immediate.
commentators out there are like, where do the show gets good? I'm like, well, then what the past fucking 4.5 seasons has this been? Shit? No.
You're right. So
Well, how
you
can
can't
this
even
get better?
You can't even see where this is going.
This show is like getting sober because when you get sober, you will live a life beyond your wildest dreams.
Is that right?
Yes, and this show is beyond even the slightest bit of conception of what I think it could be. It is beyond my wildest dreams of how good this show could be.
You're still loving it.
Yeah, how does it improve? I need to know.
Well, look, when you know, the commentators will know, because we'll be right here chronicling your Prima Volta. Ian Fidance. I can't wait to see it all go down. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and everything in the comments in case we missed anything. No spoilers, of course. Hit like on the video, subscribe, and follow at iAnimal69 on Twitter and Instagram. Find out where Ian Fidance is going to be performing.
Boom.
So you all can see him do his thing.
Yeah, come and check out me doing my thing.
That's right. That's a cool way to say it, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And, we'll be back here. Ain't going to be my first time. But for Ian, and for maybe some of you out there, it'll be the Prima Volta.
A salud.
Those are our truths.
Those are what?
Our truths.
What's our truth?
Our truth is a man. Those are his sunglasses.
Is he a commentator?
I'm sure. He's a professional wrestler.
1, 2, 3. You pinned.